Hey, sixth graders, are you sick of me yet? I'm a little sick of myself. It's really boring without you guys. We miss you. I wanted to do a shout out to Michael B. and to Candace. And let's see, there's another Jaguar that I was thinking about today. Kimura. Yeah, I hope to hear from you guys soon. Hope you are doing well and everybody's healthy. So let's get to it.
Oh dear. Released from the somber scenes for a moment. Today I hear nothing but, if this or that should happen, then we are going to be in difficulties. If he or she should become ill, then we'll be completely isolated. And then if... Enfin, I expect you know the rest. At least I presume you know the secret annexers well enough by this time to be able to guess the trend of their conversations. The reason for all this if is that Mr. Crawler has been called up to go digging. Ellie has a streaming cold and will probably have to stay at home tomorrow. Miep hasn't fully recovered from her flu yet, and Coupouis has had such a bad hemorrhage of the stomach that he lost consciousness. What a tale of woe.
This one sentence almost feels like it came from right now in our news. If he or she should become ill, then we'll be completely isolated. That's kind of what we're doing. If somebody in your household were to be sick, then we're isolated. But all of their helpers are sick. So there's nobody to come bring them food, bring them news, bring them what they need, which can be definitely troublesome for them.
The warehouse people are getting a free day tomorrow. Ellie can stay at home. Then the door will remain locked, and we shall have to be as quiet as mice, so that the neighbors don't hear us. Hank is coming to visit the deserted ones at 1 o'clock, playing the role of zookeeper, as it were. For the first time in ages, he told us something about the great wide world this afternoon. You should have seen the 8 of us sitting around him. It looked exactly like a picture of grandmother telling a story. He talked 19 to the dozen to his grateful audience, about food, of course, and then Miep's doctor and everything that we asked about. Doctor, he said, don't talk to me about the doctor. I rang him up this morning, had his assistant on the phone, and asked for a prescription for flu. The reply was that I could come and get the prescription any time between 8 and 9 in the morning. If you have a very bad attack of flu, the doctor comes to the telephone himself and says, put out your tongue, say ah. I can hear all right that your throat is inflamed. I'll write out a prescription for you to order from the chemist. Goodbye. And that's that. A fine practice that, run by telephone only. But I don't want to criticize the doctors. After all, a person has but 2 hands, and in these days there's an abundance of patients and very few doctors to cope with them. Still, we couldn't help laughing when Hank repeated the telephone conversation to us.
So remember, Hank, I believe, is Ellie's husband. So he's kind of doing the work for them, coming to talk to them. And Anne compares him to a zookeeper because they're kind of like all caged animals, and he comes to make sure they're okay. So Miep is sick, and right now during the war, there's just not a lot of people who are working. Some have been taken, obviously. Some are imprisoned. Some are fighting in the war. So right now, during wartime, and this is one of the questions on your green packet, people are calling in for doctor's appointments instead of actually going in. And that's kind of similar to what's going on today. Even in good times, we've started to do that practice of phone call appointments.
I can just imagine what a doctor's waiting room must look like nowadays. One doesn't look down on panel patients anymore, but on the people with minor ailments and thinks, hi, you. What are you doing here? End of the line, please. Urgent cases have priority. Yours, Anna. Thursday, 16 March, 1944. Dear Kitty, the weather is lovely, superb. I can't describe it. I'm going up to the attic in a minute. Now I know why I'm so much more restless than Pater. He has his own room where he can work, dream, think, and sleep. I am shoved about from one corner to another. I hardly spend any time in my double room, and yet it's something I long for so much. That is the reason, too, why I so frequently escape to the attic. There, and with you, I can be myself for a while, just a little while. Still, I don't want to moan about myself. On the contrary, I want to be brave. Thank goodness the others can't tell what my inward feelings are. except that I'm growing cooler towards Mummy daily. I'm not so affectionate to Daddy, and don't tell Margot a single thing. I'm completely closed up. Above all, I must maintain my outward reserve. No one must know that war still reigns incessantly within. War between desire and common sense. The latter has won up till now. Yet will the former prove to be the stronger of the two? Sometimes I fear that it will, and sometimes I long for it to be.
So we have a big change here already. She's being less affectionate to her father. Of course, she's still being cooler toward her mummy, even though she said the period where she was causing her tears was over. She's kind of gone back on that. A few pages ago, she was warming up to Margot. So again, she's going back and forth, very melodramatic.
Oh, it is so terribly difficult never to say anything to Peter. But I know that the first to begin must be he. There's so much I want to say and do. I've lived it all in my dreams. It is so hard to find that yet another day has gone by and none of it comes true. Yes, Kitty, Anna is a crazy child. But I do live in crazy times and under still crazier circumstances. But still, the brightest spot of all is that at least I can write down my thoughts and feelings. Otherwise, I would be absolutely stifled. I wonder what Peter thinks about all these things. I keep hoping that I can talk about it to him one day. There must be something he has guessed about me, because he certainly can't love the outer Anna, which is the one he knows so far. How can he, who loves peace and quiet, have any liking for all my bustle and din? Can he possibly be the first and only one to have looked through my concrete armor? And will it take him long to get there? Isn't there an old saying that love often springs from pity, or that the two go hand in hand? Is that the case with me too? Because I'm often just as sorry for him as I am for myself. I really don't honestly know how to begin. And however would he be able to when he finds talking so much more difficult than I do? If only I could write to him. Then at least I would know that he would grasp what I want to say, because it's so terribly difficult to put into words. Yours, Anna.
So she's upset about what's going on with Peter. She's not sure if he likes her out of pity. How could somebody so quiet and reserved like him actually like her, who's just constantly moving and talking? So just more the melodramatic tone here. And then we'll stop there. We'll have one more and we will be caught up for the week.